Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to a very special episode of the show. We have a very special guest here today, the great Ronnie Romero, vocalist of so many projects, Lords of Black, The Ferrymen, Michael Schenker Group, Rainbow, Corleone, Vandenberg, Sunstorm, and a lot others. Ronnie, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day.
My pleasure.
So you've been pretty busy in recent years, and you have a brand new album coming out on Frontiers Records, which is called Raised on Heavy Radio here in 2023, which is basically a sequel to Raised on Radio from last year. So when you released the first Raised on Radio album, which was more you doing covers of some of your favorite radio songs, did you always intend to do a sequel, or was this kind of an idea of Frontiers Records to do like a heavier version of Raised on Radio?
Oh no, that was the intention from the beginning. Actually, the main idea and the whole picture is about 3 albums. Considering that the third album is going to be original material under the name Ronnie Romero. So the thing was to make covers album first, and because of my influences and the music that I was listening through the years doesn't fit in just one record. We needed to do 2 albums, so we decided to do like a let's say lighter one with more AOR music and melodic rock, and the second one with more heavy songs.
Gotcha. Now, did you handpick all of these songs? Did the label help out, or are these all the ones you wanted to cover? And were there any that you would have liked to have done, but you just kind of ran out of room?
No. I mean, I would say the 99% of the songs was my decision. It was a couple of ideas from the record label. Also on this on this second album, there was an idea to play a Stratovarius song, which was one of my favorites, but at the end doesn't fit in the whole concept of the album, so we changed it to for this Manowar Metal Days.
Yeah, I mean,
but the songs I mean that are those songs are very related to my life, my musical life, and also my personal life. So obviously nothing was like not intended to pick up any of the songs. So everything is like it's music that I really like and I really love and I really wanted to cover.
Sure. And following your career as I have for many years, I think I can guess a lot of your influences, especially not just bands, but your vocal influences. So, you've got Ian Gillan, obviously, and Ronnie James Dio, Udo Dirkschneider, Eric Adams, Ozzy Osbourne. And I have to commend you because I think you have chosen some songs for this album that I wouldn't have normally expected. A lot of people do covers albums, and a lot of times you hear the same artists and bands doing the same songs. I mean, The Battle Rages On by Deep Purple, nobody does that. The Shining,
I know, but so cool. I'm glad you say that because this was totally on purpose. Okay. Even on the first record, you can see the track list, and it's not any song is like the typical song that people gonna cover or the people who expect me to sing. For example, in the first record, we were talking about to make a Dio song, and I was like, I don't want to do Holy Diver, because everybody does Holy Diver and Heaven and Hell or whatever it is, or Rainbow in the Dark and all those wonderful songs. But I really want to do something different. The people, they wouldn't expect me to sing, because I think that gonna bring something a little bit more fresh to the idea of a covers album.
Sure.
So yeah, actually in the second one it was easier because, for example, with the Deep Purple song, but The Battle Rages On is one of my favorite albums from Deep Purple, and it's a very underrated album. And even this song, the riff of that song is so great. It gives me chills every time that I listen to that song. So I was like, a pretty obvious for me, okay, if I'm going to do a Deep Purple song, it's going to be this one. It's not going to be Highway Star or, typical
You
Smoke on the
already
Water.
did that with Richie, right? So that's why cover the same
Exactly.
terrain you've
It
already
must
done. And
must be something, must be something that the people they would expect. And obviously the Battle Rages was on that. And the same with you know, Judas Priest. You know, I know that people would expect Painkiller or something like that, and I was no, I'm going to Trouble Over. You know, it's more mainstream pop, commercial oriented song from Judas Priest. So obviously the people they're not going to expect me to do that one. And it was on and on with the rest of the songs.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good selections. You know, you hooked up. I grew up with Chris Caffrey, just so you know. So I saw like about a month or so ago, Chris sent me a link to the video you guys did for The Shining, which again is a lesser known Black Sabbath song from the Tony Martin era. Dynamite.
Exactly. You know, everybody talks when you say Black Sabbath. Obviously, everybody talks about Ozzy, and then some people talk about Dio, but nobody talks about Tony Martin. And also specifically this album, which was the first album Tony did with the band, replacing Ray Gillen, who recorded the first version of the album. You know, so it was like this is something like it's so underrated. You know, and if for me make more sense. And this is the meaning of to make a tribute to somebody when you feel that it's underrated, so you really want to bring them and to pay real tribute to that music that should be in the spot. So that's the meaning of the album.
Yeah, well, maybe someday if you ever decide to do a part 3 of this, maybe you'd be interested in doing something from Born Again, so we can hear you doing Ian Gillan.
For example, I thought about it, but I was doing the Purple song already. So I was like, I cannot do Ian Gillan again.
I mean, A Light in the Black, right? So you picked a Rainbow song with Dio, but you picked, you know, you did Stargazer with Richie, obviously. So this is really cool. Nobody does A Light in the Black. Very, very good job there.
Yeah, you know, this is the same idea. And you know, I was trying to avoid typical things. And that's why in the first record I did Elf, which is the band Dio had before Rainbow, but in the second part I couldn't escape from Rainbow. So obviously I went to my favorite album, which is Rising, and as you say, I'm not gonna play Stargazer because everybody plays Stargazer, and you know I play Stargazer with Richie, so must be something like you know, it's in this particular case of a Rainbow song, I know is a song that people they actually would expect me to do, or they want me to do. So probably that was the only one that I know that people gonna enjoy this because they really want to hear this one, right?
Yeah, you have an intensity to your voice that I think perfectly matches with that song, and that's the first thing. Even like the 30 seconds into it, I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good fit.
Yeah, that's real my thing. Yeah, it's my real.
So some of the surprising things for me, you know, Fast as a Shark by Accept. I mean, your voice is completely different than Udo's, and it gives a totally different take to that song, which I thought was kind of unique. And I was quite surprised pleasantly that you chose that song, which many people pick as their favorite Accept song. It's the first Accept song I ever heard way back in the day. So good job on that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily something like when I was looking into the songs that we're going to play, there was not something like, okay, I need to find a singer who I can fit in, right, with my vocals. But you know, the songs were specifically picked it up because they are related to a specific moment in my life. And that's make this album even more special, because it's not just a cover album just because. It's like my personal playlist that I'm showing to the people, and I can say on every song I have a memory with that song, even from my childhood, my teenaging, or whatever. You know, I have a memory with every song. In this case with Accept, I mean, if you put heavy in an album, you need to play Accept first of all. You know, it's something like you need to do. And this song is a song I was singing when I was, I don't know, 14 years old with my first band. We were doing a lot of covers, and that was one of the songs. And I have a special memory because also my bandmates at that time, they were my schoolmates also. So we were talking about to play some songs, and one of the parents of one of the guys, he came with Accept, and he challenged me to do the song, because he told me, I don't think you can, your voice sounds similar to this, so I don't know if you can do it, right? So we did it, you know. And so when I thought about to make it an Accept song, I was like, that one must be on the track list.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Mm.
I think for me, you know, when I first received the promo of the new album, and I was looking through the track list, the one that kind of stood out to me as maybe a little bit different than everything else is the Four Horsemen by Metallica, which you know, is different because that's like kind of early thrash and a little different than everything else. It's become my favorite out of all of them. I think you bring something really different to that song, and the rest of the band plays it so well, and it just, you have this venom in your voice that really fits quite well. I mean, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
You know, that was probably, thank you very much. I think it was probably the more challenging song to record. Obviously, because you know, it's almost impossible to replicate the James vocals. It's so unique. Kind of singer. Some people say that it's not actually singing, it's more screaming or whatever. It's a mix in between those, you know, like rapping things. And so for a melodic singer, it's really hard to do it. It's the same thing with Ozzy Osbourne. For a melodic singer, it's really hard to replicate. So it was very challenging, but I'm very proud of, you know, obviously, because it's the album is under my name and everybody talks about how the vocals are, but in this second album especially, you know, I will put a flag for the band. You know, they did amazing. And when I listened to that Metallica version of the Four Horsemen, and I was like, I talked to I remember I called the drummer and I said, really, you did that? You know, like, this is fantastic. It's awesome. And it's not only the vocals, they did great. And I think that's why turn in a very cool cover.
Yeah, it works out really well. There's lots of other cool stuff on here. You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget by Yngwie. Of course, the great Mark Bowles on vocals. We have Metal Days from Manowar, Turbo Lover, Judas Priest, Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden. Epic. No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne. So you got Gus G appears on the album. You got Chris Caffrey, Roland Grapow on a great Master Plan song, Kind Hearted Light. Yeah. So I mean, you've worked with some really great guitar players in your career so far. That must be cool.
Absolutely. And in this case, it was very special. Obviously, really appreciate, because they are friends of mine, and I appreciate they were really up to do everything from the beginning since I talked to them. With Roland, it's just very special because actually he's the guy who wrote the song. So it's like, okay, what better you can have, right? Yeah. To have the guy who actually wrote and recorded the original version. It was funny with him because, you know, he's a good friend of mine since he's the producer of Lords of Black from the beginning, from the first record. He's always, we call him the fifth Lords of Black. I talked to him and I said, listen, I'm going to do this because the first Master Plan album is one of my favorites. So I really want to do it. And it would be great if you can, you know, make the solo on this one. What do you think? And it was like, you know, he's a German guy. So it was very serious. And it took me, send me the demo so I can listen if I want to do it or not. So I listened to the demo. He listened to the demo, and then he calls me and he say, Ronnie, I'm not going to play the solo. And I was like, oh, fuck. And he told me, I'm not going to play the solo. I'm going to play all the guitars because I love your version of the song. So I was like, oh, geez, thank you very much. It was funny. It was very funny. And also with Gus, you know, how better you can go with, you know, a guy who actually was playing with Ozzy Osbourne. And also he sent me a picture when he was recording the guitars, and he was using exactly the same gear he was using on the Ozzy tours.
Okay.
The closer you can get to Ozzy guitar sound is gonna be that.
Yeah.
So I think it's freaking awesome also.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're talking about Master Plan and Roland. So you and Jorn Landy are on the same label now. Is there any bit talk of having you guys do some sort of collaboration together?
No, we're good friends. We normally talk, and every time we have the chance to meet, we have a beer together, and but no, we never thought about it. I think he and I would say also me, we are a little bit tired of too many side projects,
Hey, you
Uh,
preach to the choir. Yeah, I totally get
yeah,
that.
exactly. I mean, probably we were the more prolific singers in the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So I don't think we're gonna end up doing something together. But I mean, I will love it. It's one of my favorite singers. I really like what everything he does, and he knows that, obviously. So, but by the moment we're just having beers every time we can.
That's good. That's good. So this album, you have this new album, and then you said there's a part 3 with all original material, a solo album coming out. So what else are you working on? I mean, obviously you've been touring with Michael Schenker. How is that?
Oh, that's great. I mean, to play with a guy who is celebrating 50 years of career,
Yep.
and he's still playing and behaving like he's a teenager trying to make a name on the business, is something like is encouraging for a young musician. Sometimes the young generation, mostly, we tend to sit on certain level of let's say, success,
Right.
mostly because all the things around the social media and everything turns to bring everything in a like you are the best and all that kind of things. Like it's not exactly like that. So when you think in my case, when I think about it, I play with Richie Blackmore. I did an album with Adrian Vandenberg. I have my band. I have the side project with Magnus Carlson. I play with the guys from Jesus Priest and Elegant Weapons and all the things that I did. And I feel like I did everything. I'm pretty successful. And then you see a guy celebrating 50 years career, trying to do his best every night. That's very encouraging,
Yeah.
and I think it's unique. And that probably makes Michael even more unique. I never
Yes.
saw a musician like him.
Yeah, he's a hardworking guy. It's very inspiring, even as a fan, to
Yeah.
see just how busy he always is.
Yeah, but in the inside, you can imagine. I mean, it's like it's a perfectionist, and he always try to do the best of the best in every show. We did some shows, and we did a tour in the U.S., and so there were a couple of shows where he was having a cold, and he was not even able to talk, and he was going out, playing the show the best way he can, and he did it. It was doing it 100%, and that's fantastic. For
Yeah.
for a guy with his catalog.
For sure, for sure. You mentioned Elegant Weapons, so that's been kind of in the news the last couple of days. So I know that's been a project, a band that's you guys have been working on for a couple of years, but that's actually going to happen soon. So can you talk a little briefly about that?
Yeah, I mean that's something like Richie brings on the table. A couple of years ago, he calls me and say, "Listen, I have this." If I remember correctly, he had the album recorded already, but he told me like, we feel that doesn't work with the singer we have. So we're gonna try with another singer. So I recorded the song, and then they loved it, and we ended up, working together. And the plans are we're gonna release the album on, I think it's gonna be May. It's gonna be released by Nuclear Blast, and then we're gonna make some summer festivals around Europe. And then probably before to go properly on tour, if the schedules of everybody is okay, probably we're gonna record a second album, and then we will see. But it's a very solid project, so it's not something like we will do once and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And also because we are not doing it because of a contract that we need to fulfill. It's because we really want to do it together. Rich is a cool guy. We are friends, and the rest of the guys also. Andy Snap on the production is a cool guy also, And we really want to see what happened with the band, because we think the people is going to be very surprised about what they're going to listen on the music side. It's not the typical thing Richie and I we were doing for the last few years. It's a different thing, and I think the people gonna like it, and so we will see what happened, and we're gonna build the house from that point.
Yeah, I think, Richie's got a big following, of course, being in Judas Priest as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of attention to that. And obviously yourself for the tour, you've got Davey Rimmer from Uriah Heep. I know Davey personally. He's a super nice guy, great bass player. So that's really exciting. Yeah. I know Rex Brown plays on the album and Scott plays on the album as well, Scott Travis. So I'm really interested to hear that. That sounds good. So
yeah, it's gonna be great. I think the people are gonna like it.
Awesome. And, I won't let you go until we talk a little bit about Lords of Black. And Tony, if you're watching, how's it going, man? Big fan of your band, Lords of Black. What's new on the horizon with them? Are you guys working on any new material at all?
Yeah, actually, we had a meeting with the record label a couple of weeks ago, and the idea is to make a new album, to work in a new album, and then finally to go on tour. Because of the pandemic and all the situation on the business, we were not able to do it, even when we released 2 albums in a year. So now we really want to be focused on, besides to make a new album, to finally go on tour, because if I remember correct, the last show we did together was probably, I don't know, 4-5 years ago.
Wow.
So I think it's time to go out and to show the band again around the world.
Awesome. Well, that's a lot of good stuff you have in the plans to look forward to. So
yeah,
2023 is going to be a really good year in the career of Ronnie Romero. So please go out and check out Raised on Heavy Radio on Frontiers Records, which is now available. If you missed Raised on Radio, that came out last year, that's still available. And we got all sorts of other music coming. So lots to look forward to. So Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking to you. For everybody watching, visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell, and also hit the like button before you leave. So have a good day, everybody. For Ronnie Romero, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.